In the year 1888, London was the largest city in the world, a place of grand wealth and deep poverty. Nowhere was the contrast more striking than in the East End, especially in the district of Whitechapel. Overcrowded tenements, poor sanitation, and dark, narrow alleys created a breeding ground for crime and misery. It was here, in this environment of desperation, that an unknown killer emerged, a man the world would come to know as Jack the Ripper. The Ripper's crimes were unlike anything the city had ever seen. He targeted women who worked as prostitutes, many of whom lived day to day with little money for food or shelter. These women were vulnerable and often forced to walk the streets late at night, exactly when the killer struck. The first widely accepted victim was Marianne Nichols, known as Polly Nichols. On August 31, 1888, her body was discovered in Buck's Row, her throat slashed deeply and her abdomen mutilated. The attack was shocking in its brutality, but it was only the beginning. Just over a week later, on September 8th, Annie Chapman was murdered. Her body was found in the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street. Like Polly, her throat was cut, but her injuries were even more severe. Parts of her body had been removed with precision. This led investigators to believe the killer might possess medical knowledge, or at least the skill of a butcher. Then came September 30th, remembered as the double event. On that night, the killer claimed 2 victims within an hour. The first was Elizabeth Stride, discovered in Dutfield's yard with her throat cut, but no mutilations. Many believe the Ripper was interrupted before he could continue. Less than an hour later, Catherine Eddowes was found in Mitre Square. Her injuries were extensive, her face and body mutilated beyond anything seen before. The terror climaxed with the final canonical victim, Mary Jane Kelly. Unlike the others, she was murdered indoors, in her small room at Miller's Court on November 9th. Her body was so extensively mutilated that even hardened detectives were shaken by the sight. The killer had clearly taken his time, and this final murder marked the most gruesome chapter in the case. These 5 women, Polly Nichols, Annie Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine Eddowes, and Mary Jane Kelly, are known today as the Canonical 5. Some argue there were more victims, but these murders share the most consistent pattern. Severe throat wounds, abdominal mutilations, and in some cases, the removal of organs. The police investigation was massive for its time. Detectives interviewed more than 2,000 people, conducted over 300 interrogations, and followed countless leads. Extra officers patrolled Whitechapel, yet the killer slipped away every time. Without modern forensic science, investigators relied on witness statements, which were often unreliable. The darkness, confusion, and fear of the streets made identifying the murderer nearly impossible. Adding to the chaos were the letters. The press and police received dozens, many claiming to be from the killer. The most famous was the Dear Boss letter, where the writer first used the name Jack the Ripper. Soon after came the Saucy Jack postcard, and later the chilling From Hell letter, which arrived with half of a preserved human kidney. While it's unclear if any were genuine, the name Jack the Ripper stuck, and with it, a legend was born. Over the decades, countless suspects have been proposed. Some were local residents and criminals. Others were respected doctors or butchers. More sensational theories have even accused members of the royal family, artists like Walter Sickert, or prominent politicians. Yet none of these theories have ever been proven. Despite endless speculation, Jack the Ripper's true identity remains a mystery. The legacy of the Ripper case is immense. His murders exposed the harsh realities of life in London's East End, drawing attention to poverty, crime, and the vulnerable lives of women who were often ignored by society. At the same time, the case became one of the first examples of modern true crime, a story carried by newspapers worldwide, shaping public fascination with criminal mysteries. Even today, more than a century later, Jack the Ripper's story continues to captivate. His identity remains unknown, his motives unclear, and his crimes unmatched in their historical impact. The killer vanished as suddenly as he appeared, leaving behind nothing but fear, speculation, and an enduring mystery that still haunts the foggy streets of Whitechapel. Jack the Ripper was never caught. His crimes remain unsolved, and perhaps that is why his name still echoes through history.